moms, welcome back to my channel, Home and Arrows, and welcome back to my kitchen table where about once a week I love to pull up and come and sit and chat with you all about things pertaining to mom life. If you're new here, my name is Shirley and I am a homeschooling mom to 5 kids that I like to call my arrows, and I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 12 years. And today I want to talk about the importance and the value it is for us as parents to instill in our children a heart that honors and respects authority. And here's the thing, it isn't even really about us parents. If we want to teach our children about respect because we're on some power trip, then we have it all wrong, because that's not what it's about at all. Teaching our kids to respect authority is less about us and it's more about them. Even the Bible says, children, honor your father and your mother, so that it will go well with you. I want to share with you a story of something that my oldest daughter and I recently encountered that caused me to think I really need to address the topic of respecting parents and respecting authorities with my kids. I hope you'll stick around. My 2 oldest kids are girls, and right now they are 12 and 11 years old. And I wanted to share a story with you that kind of jump-started a conversation that I started having with my kids on the topic of respect. Now, since my kids were little, we have talked about respect. We have talked about honor. We have talked about the Bible passage that says, children, honor your father and your mother so that it may go well with you. We have talked about and addressed all those things. But I think as my daughters are now approaching their tween and we're looking more closely at their teen years, I really felt like it was something that we needed to have a heart-to-heart about again and talk about again. Because, I don't know if you've noticed, but in culture and society, children disrespecting their parents, it's kind of just everywhere. You see it on TV and you see it when you're in the grocery store. You know, me as a mom who has children that are entering their teen years, you know, you're just kind of bombarded with, oh, get ready for their mouths, get ready for the attitudes. But I've always been in the camp where I've thought, does it really have to be that way? And I don't want it to be that way. I don't want my home to be a place where my children are ugly, where they speak disrespectfully to me, where they speak disrespectfully to my husband, where they speak disrespectfully to each other as siblings. I don't want to be reactive in the future to something that is, oh my gosh, this is already happening. I'd rather be preventative and take those kinds of measures than wait for it to already be an issue before I address it. And for me, that begins with having conversations with my children, being intentional during our Bible time in the morning to address certain character issues. So I want to share a story that kind of jump-started all of this for me recently with my kids. And I don't want to give too many details. I don't know which of our friends watch the channel or not, but I would never want anyone's feelings to be hurt. I was with my 12-year-old daughter, and we were meeting another mom and another daughter for the very first time. And when we did, there were 5 of us in this little circle having a conversation. The mom made a comment and the daughter responded to the mom's comment kind of like this, that's not true. And I could tell that the poor mom was so embarrassed. She tried to kind of scramble and be like, well, honey, don't you remember when you said this? And the daughter again was like, that's not at all what happened. And the mom again was trying to smooth over the situation with her daughter in front of us and but honey, and the daughter was so adamant and so firm and so disrespectful to her mom that it felt awkward for those of us who had to be around it. It was awkward for me. Later, after I talked to my daughter, she was like, yeah, it was really awkward, because then I tried to jump in and be like, what your mom probably means is this. I just really felt bad for that mom, because I could feel and sense her embarrassment in the moment, and her daughter would not let up. And I walked away from that, and my daughter and I got in the van And I said to her, wow, did you see how disrespectful that girl was to her mom? And my daughter absolutely noticed it and said, yeah. And in fact, she was really excited about meeting this girl and wanted to hopefully have a new friend in her future. But we were both like, yeah, that was a really bad first impression. And we tried to be like, maybe she's having a rough night, come up with reasons to why she was acting that way, hopeful that maybe we just caught her on a really off night. And I used that as her life lesson to say, do you see how ugly disrespect and dishonor can look on us? But it really solidified something in me that I don't ever want my kids to treat me that way. In public or in private, it doesn't matter. I don't want my kids to speak to me with that tone of voice, with that kind of disrespect. So what's a mom to do? And like almost all the other things and all the other ways that I like to tackle issues with my kids, heart issues with my kids, is I like to talk to them about it. And it just so happens that we have been going through a book by Sally Clarkson, or more appropriately, her husband Clay Clarkson wrote it. It's a book called Our 24 Family Ways. And if you're looking for something that will specifically target character training in your kids, we've really, really enjoyed this book. We're only about 3 weeks in. But it tackles character qualities like forgiving, serving, loving, being thankful, content, generous, diligent, and having initiative, being peacemakers, being patient, gracious. And so week 3, I was really excited because it addresses honoring and obeying your parents and having a respectful attitude towards them. My kids love this book, and one of the main reasons I think is because it's really interactive. It begins with me asking the kids questions, and I can tell that they really look forward to me asking the question of the day, and it gives me an opportunity to hear each of their hearts because I let all of them answer. So the other day when we were addressing specifically through this book the topic of respecting and honoring parents, I shared this story that River and I experienced with all of the kids. And so at the table, I was able to share 3 different things concerning respect with my kids. And I want to share those 3 things with you today. I told them, in that story, kids, the daughter did not agree with her mom. And I asked them, is it okay to disagree with your mom or dad? And of course, the answer was yes. It is absolutely okay for our children to disagree with us. What is not allowed and what we don't want to see is you disagreeing with a disrespectful and a dishonoring attitude. It all boils down to it's not what you say, it's how you say it. The second thing I talked about with my kids is that there is a difference between respect, honor, and obedience. Obedience is, if you've seen the video, cheerfully doing what you're asked to do and doing it quickly because I love you. So that is obedience. Respect and honor are different. I explained to my kids, you can obey mommy, but you can sure do it with a really bad attitude. I can say, Daniel, can you please take out the trash? And if you obey me, but the whole time you're obeying, you're like, oh, this job stinks so bad and I wish you wouldn't ask me to do things, but he still takes out the trash. I explained to them that it completely negates the good that they have done by obeying. So it was really important for me to talk to my kids and partner honor, respect, and obedience. And the third thing that I talked about with my kids had more to do with me. Moms, if we want and expect honor and respect from our children, we need to take the wheel and treat our children with honor and respect first. I can't expect my children to speak to me in an honoring way if I don't speak to them in an honoring way. If I'm nagging, belittling, or yelling out of anger, we're just making it really hard for them to even respect us. So they might, with their mouths, speak respectfully, but we want their hearts to honor and respect us first. And I think that begins when we treat them with love and when we treat them with honor and respect. Hopefully it will birth something in them where they want to respond in the same way and in the same manner to us. So moms, I hope that you have heard my heart today. Teaching our kids to respect is a really big deal. I know it's probably nothing new or anything super eye-opening. All right, moms, thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, bye.